Hi there. I wanted to go over the upright movements resources, especially the daily readiness manager. As you can see, we have several monitors. I feel the manager is a good first step. Has 10 questions. The other ones have 30 or so. Let's go back to the daily readiness manager. Going over the 10 questions. I'll explain them as we go through. Now, this readiness manager, along with the other monitors within the resources, as well as throughout the Upright Movement website, sits upon these 4 pillars. These are our principles: mindset, recovery, nutrition, hydration, and movement. So if we're looking to upgrade our lives, work, sport, life, whatever that may be, wherever that may be, and whenever, to upgrade any one of those, at the center of that is upgrading mindset, upgrading behavior, thoughts, actions, and habits. Right? As far as the movement side of the house and physical performance, that's really the pinnacle, the tip of the iceberg, and it's maybe 10% of the outcome, right? And that's probably being generous. It's not so much the process. It's not the foundation that allowed us to get there and supports the expression of performance. So as you can see, mindset, ideally, I want it to be restorative, along with my sleep, my recovery, and my nutrition. Now, when I'm moving, especially in the context of work, sport, competition, most likely those are going to be a bit more energy expending and not so much restorative. Some movements that might be more restorative typically would be something like yoga, but it's not going to be a track sprint or a competition or a Spartan race. Right? Those are going to be a lot more expending energy-wise. Now, you might really enjoy them, so from a mental perspective, they might be very rejuvenative as far as one's mindset, but we have to consider that the energy expenditure, the demands, the stressors, the body doesn't discriminate, and the cells don't discriminate. So it could be your birthday, it could be the holidays, it could be a tax audit, it could be a divorce, it could be an injury, an illness, disease, it could be working too much, training too much, competing too much, not sleeping enough. As far as the body goes and the cells, it all sees it as being a negative and stress. If you want to find out more, you can click on this link here and find out more about the principles. So going forward with the questions, have my thoughts, actions, and habits, have they supported my goals? Right? If I want a certain outcome, how are my actions, my behaviors, my mindsets when it comes to the process? Now, as you can see, this is kind of self-limiting, self-correcting. Let's just say I get a few no's, especially if it's consistent. I look at it from a few weeks collection of these questionnaires that I've journaled, and I look back and I see which 3 would be the easiest and most successful and the most likely for me to turn around. Right? So if I have a few no's, with at least 80% confidence, kind of turn them into yeses. Positive, supportive processes towards the outcome goals that I have in mind? Have I mentally rehearsed these goals? Right? Have I seen them? Have I felt them within my mind, my body, as far as how is my experience once I've achieved them? Mentally rehearsed my success and working towards that goal, that process, that outcome. And am I being positive? Right? Am I looking for opportunities, a growth mindset, or perhaps something less so? Right? I want to reframe things. If I start to doubt, reframe it, turn it around. Right? Is it a threat? Is it something negative? Or perhaps do I want to see it in a positive light, such as a challenge, an opportunity? Am I performing these breathing exercises that are going to support my mindset, my mood, as well as my hormones, as well as restoration? Right? Restoration is going to support my health, it's going to support my performance. And I can do a lot of this stuff even when I'm not doing anything. Let's just say I'm stuck in traffic. Right? Or at a traffic light. Right? Take a handful of deep, slow, controlled breaths. Focus on exhalation. Focus on the pause. See how long you can have a pause without forcing a pause to where it's uncomfortable. Just have the pause as long as you can, and then let the breath naturally come about as far as the inhalation. And then inhale for as long as you can, and then after you can't inhale any longer, relax and pause as long as you can before the next exhale. So long pauses between the inhalations and exhalations. And if you want to practice just on one phase of the breathing, I would focus on the long, controlled exhalations, and then focus on the pauses, and then focus on the inhalations, and then focus on the bookends, between the two. Do I have a good social experience within my day? That can be even a pet. Right? For many people, they see their pets as family members. And they are. Did I drink half my body weight in ounces of water? Up to an ounce, especially if it's hot. And if I've exerted myself quite a bit and was sweating quite a lot, I have to replenish the fluid. Am I eating good quality, fresh, nourishing whole foods? Right? With good, healthy fats. So these omega-3 fats, they're going to be more anti-inflammatory. Got to eat a rainbow of vegetables, many colors. Minimize processed grains, sugars, and artificial sweeteners. So these later items, right, the processed grains, sugars, and artificial sweeteners, often they're going to have a longer shelf life. And so the longer the shelf life, the further you can transport something, usually the less nourishing it's going to be. It's going to be more of a food of commerce and less of a whole nourishing food for your body, because essentially whatever you eat is going to become you. So if you want to have good raw building materials to support the maintenance, the regeneration of your body, you want good materials. It's like there's a computer term. In computer science, it's GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, right? So I imagine for many of us, we want to minimize the garbage coming into our body. Sleep is nutrition, right? And going back to breathing, that's also nutrition, right? I mean, we can go a couple of days, maybe a week or so without water, maybe a couple of weeks without food. How long can you go without air? Right, so that's your first and foremost nutrient. Air. I would say the second would be sleep. Sleep is very restorative to our body, just as food is. Am I sleeping a minimum of 8 hours? Not a maximum, a minimum. Another way you could look at it is, did I sleep half the amount of hours that I was awake? I'm up for 20, sleep for 10. Right? Am I in rhythms? Am I in rhythm with the natural cycles of dark and light and that of the season? We're wired to sleep within those patterns, and so about 3 hours or so after sunset. The sun helps to set our internal clocks, our circadian rhythms, and therefore our hormones, our metabolism, our mood, how well we're regenerating. Is out in nature, fresh air, sunlight, morning, as well as late in the day. Am I able to access the ground and be comfortable? Furniture is a novel idea to our species. Right? The chair has only been around a few thousand years. Humans have been around much longer than that. Some people say 100,000. Some people say about 200,000. You can see some of the ancient cave paintings in some parts of Europe that date back to about 35,000 years or so. So I would say at least that. And furniture wasn't around during those time periods. So in the big picture, right, the ground is the natural resting position for our species. So can we access it? Do we have the mobility within our hips, especially perhaps our mid-spine, thoracic spine, our feet and ankles? If not, these postures might be helpful in restoring those areas. And if we need some assistance, use some assistance with some pillows, some pads, some blankets to help bolster and support us until we can just sit on the ground in various positions without the aid of those things. And I perform self-massage. Now, I'd say the recommended routines generally would be that of, can we access the ground? Can we find ourselves in these primitive resting postures? And a lot of times when we sit cross-legged, let's just say, I have one shin massaging the opposite calf. That could be a massage in and of itself. Now let's just say I answered yes, and maybe a few no's, and we'll see where we are as far as what the scoring looks like. Maybe just throw in a few no's. And let's just see where that lands at. Okay. So not quite in the green. You can kind of see I was at the threshold here. Now I can print this out as well, and all I need to do is click on it. So I could track this over time if I'd like, and see if I have a pattern, or what's my trend throughout the month. Here's some action items can be helpful in getting me more in that green optimal zone. So if I wasn't in the green, focusing on recovery, sleep, rest, breathing exercises, water consumption, nutritious food, and gentle walking in nature. These are some recommended patterns of movement. The same applies for the suboptimal as far as recovery, breathing, water, food, walking in nature. And these are the recommended patterns of movement. Now, if I was in the green, now if I'm feeling fine, if I have the energy, basically I have a green light. So these are some of the things that we can go over within our live Zoom session. Now this is really quick. This is a shorter one. As you can see, there's several more resources. So please practice some of this. Give it some time, a few weeks, ideally at least a month, and see how you feel. So practice this, investigate this thoroughly, as well as the other ones. These are the guidelines. Let me know if you have any questions. Shoot your questions to me, please. And then we can address them during our live Zoom sessions. Now, if you're not able to make the Zoom sessions, the sessions will be recorded, and so you'll have a copy as a resource. And I hope this was helpful and that you have a good day. Thank you now. We'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.